right, so I heard this bigot over there in Taiwan make a response video. I mean, as always, I mean it's not surprising about the hangout that I had not too long ago with with a group great guys, man. It was a very fun hangout. You know, we had guys from New Zealand. We got Kiwi on there. We had EJ Boxing Live, Charlie Brown Boxing, Blood Boxing, Coach Shelton Harrison, Low Place, Mr. Doc, Brian the Barber, you name it. We had Zone 6. We had everybody on there. It was a great hangout. We had a great discussion all about boxing. And this guy comes around talking about it was all negative only because he didn't like the fact that me and Charlie Brown brought up the idea that we don't believe that Anthony Joshua had less than 2 weeks prepared against Carlos Taco. Okay? Because if you look at it from one perspective, they had Carlos Takam. Eddie Hearn had strategically had Carlos Takam on standby just in case Kubrat pulled out of the fight. Okay, when you have one fighter on standby, that tells us that your other fighter, Anthony Joshua, was also preparing for that fight as well. There's no way in hell you can tell us that you had him on standby for that long stretches of time, which is about what 9 weeks, or maybe a month or so. I don't know, maybe about 6-7 weeks, I guess. And Anthony Joshua wasn't prepared for that time. We don't buy that. Okay, that's just our thoughts on it. But besides the point, Anthony Joshua performed extremely well despite the fact that some people believe, and this is Fat Apples and King Slender 2.0. Shout out to you guys. I mean, you guys have commented on my hangouts. You guys always been respectful. I got no problem with you guys. If you believe that Anthony Joshua only had 1 week to prepare, that's fine. That's your belief, but I don't buy that, and neither does Charlie Brown. Okay, we can all agree to disagree. But to turn around and say, and this is this bitch in Taiwan, for trying to make it look like it's hate, that's stupid, okay? And besides, even if Anthony Joshua only got 2 weeks to prepare for the fight, that's no excuse to say that, well, this is the reason why I couldn't knock the guy out because I only had 1 week to prepare, okay? No. Let me give you some examples. Lennox Lewis, the guy you see before you, right before you, okay? Lennox Lewis, took on Vitaly Klitschko to defend his WBC title in 2003 with less than 2 weeks. I think it was a 2-week notice because Klitschko was fighting on the undercard on that card, and Lennox Lewis was supposed to be defending his title against Kurt Johnson. And Kurt Johnson pulled out of the fight. I forgot what it was. I think he cited an injury or something like that. Lennox, however, at that time, and many people believe, wasn't really training for Kurt. He wasn't taking his training very seriously, and that's the reason why he came in under the fight under condition, severely under condition. So I guess from my assessment on it, Lennox was making up his mind that this would be his last fight. He had no desire to fight anymore after that, so that's why he fought in the condition that he was against Vitaly. Yes, he looked bad. He looked lethargic, but he found a way to win. There was no excuse. He found a way to stop Vitaly. Yes, it was a TKO stoppage. If you guys want to talk about cuts, Vitaly Klitschko suffered severe cuts. A very horrible gash above his eye and one below his eye. That fight warranted the stoppage by the ring doctors. And Vitaly couldn't go on because of that. And plus, he was severely weakened by the punishment that Lennox Lewis was given to him. So I don't want to hear this. Look, again, we didn't trash Anthony Joshua's performance. No. We didn't do that. We said it was a great performance by Anthony Joshua. It was a good performance. However, he still has some technical deficiencies, like he's shown in previous fights. It seems like when it seems like people have a problem with me or Charlie Brown and others point that very fact out. But when we point out that Deontay Wilder has technical deficiencies in his championship fights, there's no problem with that. That's okay to some people. But when we point that out about Joshua, it's a problem. It's hate. I don't understand where this hate comes from. The word hate always gets overblown, man. I do not understand that when we point these very things out, it's classified being hate. It's silly and it's fucking stupid. Okay? So I don't want to hear this talk about the reason why Anthony Joshua couldn't knock out Carlos Takam because of the fact that he took that fight on a 2-week notice and only had 1 week to prepare. I don't buy that. No. Besides, there's no excuse. What's another example? Evander Holyfield, when he fought Burt Cooper, took that fight on a 2-week notice because I think it was the guy, the WBO champion. I forgot that guy's name. But anyways, he was supposed to fight Evander Holyfield, but he backed out of the fight at the last minute. So Burt Cooper stood in. Okay, yes, Evander Holyfield did that right there. But the things between those two fights and between Evander Holyfield's last minute replacement Burt Cooper and Lennox Lewis last minute replacement of Vitaly Klitschko is that fact these two fighters actually didn't have much time to prepare for those fights. But they did not use that as an excuse why they couldn't get the knockout. They found a way to get the knockouts in their wins against Vander win against Burt Cooper, even though he was struggling in that fight. And same thing with Lennox Lewis. No excuses. You should always be in shape. You always should be prepared. Yes, stylistically, that could be an issue. But the fact is, there's many fighters who've taken fights on last-minute notices and have performed extremely well against last-minute opponents. That it's been done before. Okay. So again, it doesn't go. AJ gave up. He gave a great performance. No question about it. It's nothing wrong with the fact that this man still had technical deficiencies, like he's shown in previous fights. Those effects still exist and they're lingering. Okay, they still exist and he needs to correct it. That's all. That's nothing wrong with me assessing that point. Neither is Charlie Brown. All right. So anyhow, I just don't want to hear this double standard talk about, oh, well, what about Wilder's performances and all that? He didn't look great against those championship fights either. Yes, I know. I've commented on that. I've said that he's shown technical deficiencies in those fights against Gerald Washington, against Eric Molina, against who else? Who's the other one? Johan Duhaupas and all that. I've said that many occasions. He needs to work on several things, okay, to get to make sure he has proper that way he's properly what's the word I'm looking for? He's properly apt for his fights. That's all I need to say about that. And again, I don't understand where this talk about hate coming from my hangout that I had with the coach and everybody else, okay? And Charlie Brown and others and EJ Boxing Live. So the guy in Taiwan, you need to cut the shit out and stop this bullshit. I'm out. Peace. Oh, one more thing. I haven't forgot about the fact that you ducked me for a live hangout debate. So the invitation is still out. So if you want to come on and talk to me live, I'll be right here. I am ready. So you let me know when is a good time for you. I'm out.